Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And today I have with me Shannon Patrick. He's a quarterback out of Bethune Cookman, previously from Arkansas Pine Bluff. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, nice to have you on. I know you've had somewhat of a journey, again, like I said, being at two different universities there. But kind of walk us through that journey a little bit. Maybe tell me where you're from and just kind of catch us up to speed, if you don't mind.
I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida. I played at Wellington High School, and I ended up going kind of under recruited. So eventually I ended up taking the junior college route. I was at Northland Community and Technical College in Minnesota. I played my season up there, and then got an offer to go play at Arkansas Pine Bluff. So I played there in 2018. I played the first two games there. And then I ended up breaking my knuckle on my throwing hand, so I had to redshirt the rest of the way. And then I came back 2019. I played, I had a pretty good season. And then for my senior season, I decided, I wanted to test the water somewhere else. And, I wanted to go give it a try, and I got to go play close to home. So I was appreciative of that, play at Bethune Cookman. So that's where I finished out my senior season. I had to deal with a couple injuries my senior season. So I ended up missing games that I didn't really want to, but didn't have a choice. So that's kind of where we're at now.
Obviously those things happen. I mean, sometimes the injuries happen and they completely derail a season or, kind of set you back a little bit. How does one break one's knuckle? How did that happen?
It was just a fluke injury. I was throwing the ball and my finger came down their helmet and it cracked it.
I always think about that really because, you figure, as a quarterback's hand motion is coming down, their helmet's right there. So, obviously, you got to be mindful of that when you're throwing. And obviously it happens, but quite honestly, I feel like it would happen even more often than not. So, I'm assuming you're healthy now. Obviously some of those injuries were a long time ago. What's your state these days? What are you gearing up for?
I'm gearing up for the FCS National Bowl in Daytona Beach. It's actually coming up this weekend. And I have a couple other bowls that I'm going to as well. The HBCU Pigskin Bowl in Alabama and the Spirit of America Bowl in Virginia. But I'm hoping to possibly pick up a couple more invites from either the Gridiron Showcase or the Legacy Bowl, hopefully. So I'm kind of hoping for those two, but we're going to see where it takes us. Awesome.
Well, obviously, you're going to be out there, at the FCS Bowl. That's the kind of the first one to kick things off. And then, typically how these, postseason events go is, you do well in one. Obviously, there's some scouts there. Maybe end up moving yourself a little bit up the ladder, so to speak. To some of these bigger events. Who knows where that's going to take you? But obviously, you have several options on the table, so that's kind of great. So, right. Shannon, talk to me a little bit about you. Let's talk about you as a quarterback. What do you feel like is the best thing you bring to the table as a quarterback? What sets you apart, you believe?
I would probably say my accuracy. I feel like I'm a very accurate passer, and I also have pretty good arm talent. So I'll probably say that's what kind of differentiates me from other quarterbacks is that I take pride in throwing the football, and I feel like I'm a pretty good passer. So that's kind of my strength.
Gotcha. And who are you looking at to really maybe even better your game? Is there maybe a player in the league that you try and model yourself after?
I like watching Aaron Rodgers, and I also like watching Drew Brees when he used to play because I feel like I'm pretty similar to him. But I would probably say I really like watching Aaron Rodgers.
Gotcha. Well, obviously a lot of very respectable guy, maybe the best right now in the leagues. You got to give props to him. So, how do you see yourself as a quarterback? What are you what are you doing as a quarterback? I mean, sometimes people kind of, I don't know, pigeonhole guys a little bit when they talk about guys that are pocket passers or, guys that are, running this, RPO business. Do you see yourself as a mobile quarterback? Like, how would you define yourself?
I would define myself as probably a pro style quarterback, pocket passer, but I am mobile to move around and extend plays and stuff like that. I can fit in the RPO system. I did that some here. I've done a little read option. I can do a little bit of it all, but I'll probably say if you're classifying me as one, it would probably be a pro style pocket passer who's mobile enough to, move around in the pocket back there.
Gotcha. So how mobile are you, man? You have a lot of, stats there for you, like rushing, like you got a lot of rushing stats or what?
I wouldn't say I have a lot of rushing stats. I've got some rushing touchdowns from being, near the goal line and stuff like that. But as far as using my mobility, it's more to extend the play than to, I can run and pick up first downs and stuff, but I don't have any crazy rushing stats.
Well, I mean, obviously, there's only, so many Lamar Jacksons out there. So, like
right.
one, but no, I was just kind of curious because, sometimes in some offenses, they will utilize a quarterback's legs more, especially with the ever popular nowadays with the RPOs. So I completely get it. Let's kind of work our way towards you, like, playing on the field. Tell me, like, how you would prepare, like, in a normal week. Like, obviously, film room's important. So let's talk about that real quick. How do you feel like that has helped you develop over the years?
Oh, it definitely has. As you start playing from high school on to college, you start looking for different things and, more in-depth detailed things in defenses, like where the blitzes are coming from and, based off looks and tendencies and stuff like that. You start to look more in depth in that. But I would definitely say film study has definitely helped me as my career has went on, and I've learned more and more about it, and it's made me a better player.
Gotcha. And so obviously, a lot of great talent that's been across from you. If people don't already know, tell me a couple of these, like pass rushers and like defensive players that you face like regularly, because like I know a lot of them are like in the league, are really getting a lot of love. Who have you studied like on film? Like who's like maybe that one player that sticks out?
You're saying like defensively or offensively?
Yeah, defensively.
I'll probably say Devin Bush. I played against him in high school. Well, I played against his team in high school. I have a lot of respect for him, but he was actually hurt when we played him in one of the playoff games in high school. But yeah, I look up to him. I like watching him play. I think he's real aggressive, and he got a lot of speed, and I think he's a good player I like to watch on defense.
Right, but I'm just saying, like within your conference play, like obviously, who's been your toughest opponent?
I can't really put my finger on a particular player, but I'll probably say University of Central Florida. When we played them, they had a lot of really good players, and they gave us a pretty good run for our money. But I'll probably say UCF. They got a lot of good defensive players.
Definitely. UCF. You're playing Division I football. So Division
Right.
You are a Division I football player. So a lot of people don't know that because obviously most people they think about hey, you're a small school guy, so they always wonder, well, who does this guy face? And obviously every so often you get these big, schools like UCF that are trying to whoop up a little bit on these FCS opponents. So I completely get that, but obviously going out there having to study those guys definitely is a challenge. Another part of the game prep, and I don't know if you want to talk about this a little bit, but being as a quarterback, like what's your mentality towards the weight room? Like what are you trying to accomplish there? Obviously you're no big meathead or anything like, but how do you approach the weight room in general?
Working on position specific, workouts. Basically, you work the shoulders and work the rotator cuffs. So you end up not injuring that later on in the season. You do your bench press and your squat and stuff like that, but a lot of position specific. So working on your shoulders and triceps and stuff that help you throw the ball, core, stuff like that.
Awesome. Well, let's kind of get to your time, game day. So you have any crazy game day rituals, like anything you got to do to get yourself psyched up before a game?
Honestly, I don't know if I've ever told anybody this, but I do push-ups the night before a game. I do it every night, push-ups, but I'll probably say the night before a game, that's when I rep out some push-ups. I rep out 100 push-ups a night before the game, and I don't know, I feel like it just gets me ready.
Hey, everybody's got their own way of getting themselves psyched up a little bit. So
Yeah.
tell me about some of your best moments out there on the field. Are there any particular plays or highlights that you want to share?
I'll probably say there's a few. When I played against UCF this year, the first drive, UCF had the ball. They went down and scored. And then, so now it's 7-0, and we get the ball, and we drive down the field, and I end up throwing a touchdown the first drive we have against UCF, and I thought that was pretty cool. Got to do that in front of my family. The crowd was going crazy. I thought that was a pretty cool moment. And also, we played Alcorn State going into the half, where we were down by, I think it was 14 or 17, and we ended up coming back and winning that game. I ended up having a really good game versus them as well. And also, when I was at Arkansas Pine Bluff, we were playing Tennessee State, and we ended up driving down and throwing a game-winning touchdown as time expired to beat Tennessee State in 2019. And that was another pretty good moment. So I'll probably say those are my top.
Awesome. Well, I mean, it seems as if the HBCU circuit has really exploded lately. When you think about some of the influences now, and you have Eddie George, the head coach there at Tennessee State. You got Deion Sanders coming in, coaching Jackson State. I feel like it's really helping. It's really helping recruiting. I mean, it's really helping like just overall competition, man. Like your guys' competition is like some of the best. So and people really don't understand some of the talent that you had to go up against. But I know also there at Bethune Cookman, got a lot of good talent there as well. I know you got some damn good tight ends there that you're working with. So you want to give anybody else a shout from your team like that you feel deserves a little bit of love?
Kamari Averett, he's the big tight end, along with Teron Mallard. They're both really good talents, along with a receiver that didn't really get to play that much this year. Named Marcus Riley. He hurt his foot earlier in the year, so he couldn't play. But I also got a couple good players on defense too, more than a couple, but Ontario Johnson, the middle linebacker. I think we got a lot of talent at Bethune Cookman, and I think later on it'll really show more.
Awesome. Well, let's get a chance to meet you a little bit more, like outside of a football player. Tell me something more about yourself, if you don't mind. Something interesting, fun, hobbies, what have you. Go ahead. Give me something fun.
I like to go hunting and fishing. I like to go saltwater fishing. So I'll go sit up there on the dock and get a couple lines wet and go fishing for a little bit. That's kind of one of my hobbies I like to do. And I also go hunting with my family. Those are two things I would probably say I like to do a lot.
Gotcha. I don't know what it was. I just kind of felt like you were going to go there with like the outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me a little something. Obviously you're from the West Palm Beach area. So are you a big are you big, going to the beach? Is that something you do regularly there or what?
Honestly, when you live in Florida, you tend to not really go to the beach as often or want to go because it's right there. Then somebody who lives in the middle of the United States maybe wants to go to the beach more than I do, but it's always there. So it's like I can go there anytime. So you tend to not go that often, but I do find myself around the water a lot when I go fishing. But as far as chilling on the beach, I probably don't do it as often as I probably would want to if I lived in the middle of the United States.
Gotcha. And the other thing I was going to ask you is what's like I don't know, maybe like your comfort meal? Like what would be like your favorite meal? Like, you come home very hungry. Like, what is the one thing that you would love to have, I asked this because I mean, obviously being a hunter, fisherman, things like that. It's like, what's going on in your head? Like, what do you really want? What whets your appetite?
Honestly, chicken wings. I love chicken wings and blue cheese and ranch. That's my thing right there.
Gotcha. Is there like a go-to restaurant down there, like in your hometown that you love going to?
Not necessarily well, I do like this place called Wings Plus. It's right here in West Palm Beach, but I like wings from everywhere. Wingstop,
Oh yeah, I mean,
Buffalo Wild Wings. I just love chicken wings. That's
as
my thing.
long as we got a wing, we're good. Shannon's gonna be
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
hey, as we begin to wrap up a little bit, I mean, I want to ask, maybe one quick question. So, I mean, obviously, there have been a lot of people that have poured into you over the years. A lot of great coaches. What do you feel is like one of the best lessons you've ever learned from those guys? I mean, whether it be back in high school, at Pine Bluff, or there at Bethune Cookman, what do you feel is like the best lesson you've ever learned?
The best lesson I've learned has definitely got to be film study. I went over it before, but I would probably say in high school, the coach is teaching you the importance of film study. And as you get to college, you learn like how much more important it is than people think. You start going more into depth and looking at tendencies and blitzes and stuff like that. And it really takes your game to the next level. So I would probably say that's the best thing I can learn from all the.
Gotcha. And as we begin to wrap up again, like I want you to just take a moment. I mean, obviously, we play this game. I mean, we love playing this game, and hopefully, when you get out there in front of everybody, playing this game at the FCS Bowl and some of those other HBCU events. There's going to be people watching you. Maybe you'll have the time to actually sit down, talk with some scouts. I want you to kind of address all those scouts like right now. Why should they take a chance on you, give you the opportunity, and bring you into their franchise? So what would you bring as a talent?
What would I bring as a talent?
Yeah, what would you bring as a player as in addition to their program?
I would probably say consistency. Looking back at my history of playing ball, whether it was my senior year in high school, throwing almost 50 touchdowns my senior year, to junior college, I led the country in passing, and then to my Division I football years of playing. I had to deal with injuries and stuff, so I missed some games, but I ended up, throwing for over 4,000 yards in my time playing in Division I, and I feel like consistency is something that they can expect from me. But not only that, somebody come in and work hard and really push to help a franchise win games.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, definitely a guy who's been through the grind for sure. So, I mean, I know you've gone through a lot of adversity again, coming out, going the JUCO route, hopping to a couple of different universities, being injured, fighting through that, and obviously at a point right now where you're going to be putting yourself on stage so that you'll get that opportunity. So, I mean, I do feel like a guy with that kind of grit and determination, hopefully people will see more of that in you and give you that opportunity. So, Shannon, thanks a lot for this interview, bud, and I wish you best of luck. All right.
Man, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Sure. Again, I have with me Shannon Patrick. He's a quarterback at Bethune Cookman, previously of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Definitely check him out.